and welcome back to the Minds of an Interior Designer podcast. I am your host Ellie Fenlon, and in today's episode is a really exciting one. Now I know I say that about a lot of episodes, but I've actually just been to an Unreal Hotel in Liverpool, all will be revealed, and it really inspired today's podcast episode. And that's one of my favourite things, is when I actually experience something myself that inspires me for a podcast episode, which is exactly what all this is about. Now, we are honest round here, we listen and we don't judge, and I would be lying if I said this is the first time that I've heard all this content and done all this podcasting, because I've actually just recorded this episode. This is actually my second run, and I basically didn't save the sound. So for the joy of my own ears, I'm going to be recording it again, but also for the joy of you guys. I was absolutely devastated because this podcast means the absolute world to me, and if the sound's not perfect, if anything's not perfect, I'm quite the perfectionist. It gets me down, it upsets me. I was crying a lot, let's just say that. And yeah, I would basically text me mate and I was like, should I record it again? She was like, Elle, if you're not happy with it, like, you know yourself, and I don't want it to be not perfect. And you know, podcasting itself is like, once you listen to the sound, if it's awful, you're going to click off it. That's standard. And for anyone who's new here, I would not want them to think that the podcast has got like terrible sound quality, because I'd be devastated. So yeah, I obviously don't want that, so I thought I'm going to go again, we're going to record it, and it's going to be even better than the last one. So if you are new here, please do subscribe to the podcast, whether that be over here on my YouTube channel or if you're listening on any podcast platform. It would mean the world. We talk about interiors over here and we have a laugh whilst we're doing it. So without further ado, let's start the podcast. So as I said, what inspired this podcast was the fact that I went to an not even unreal, 5-star hotel in Liverpool that has opened about a year and a half ago. I actually went to the opening of it, and that is the Municipal Hotel. I've probably just butchered that name because, funny story, when I got invited to the opening, I actually ended up doing a TikTok. That TikTok went viral, and not for a good reason, for the fact that everyone was slaughtering the fact that I've got a Scouse accent. That is obvious, like, do you know what I mean? But everyone was laughing at the way I was pronouncing it, so I made up it went viral, but maybe not made up it went viral because of how I said the hotel name. So if I've butchered it once again, like, honestly, I keep going on them like pronunciation websites where it's like, how do you pronounce this? And I'm thinking, am I gonna have to start going to elocution lessons? Like, do I not know how, like, to speak in my voice? I don't even know. But anyway, we went there and it was absolutely unbelievable. And it got me thinking about the importance of interiors in hotels, and the basis of a hotel really does stand on the design, especially when it comes to booking one as well. But it was just the most luxurious stay. Funny enough, it was actually the council buildings, and people were messaging me. So if anything's gorgeous interior wise, especially, you know, I'm posting it over on my Instagram facts, this hotel was something else. I obviously knew it was already something else, but I hadn't actually stayed there, so the experience was different. It was definitely memorable, but I will get onto this anyway. When I was posting pictures, obviously a lot of my followers are from Liverpool. They were like, oh my God, you're staying in the room that used to be my office. And I was like, that is actually strange. Imagine, like, years ago you'd have said, just to let you know that this building will soon be home to like a bedroom and you're working in it. I just find that so mad. Like, you just don't know like what the future holds, especially with like design and the changing of architecture of buildings and whatnot. But it was really gorgeous. And obviously I wanted to do my research. So I found out the architects and designers who actually designed it. If you want to go and take a look at them, or shout out to them. I don't know who they were until, that's what I love about the podcast. I feel like I get to explore things further. So it's actually architects Falconer, Chester Hall, and Design Studios, Concept ID, and Greyland Interior Design. And I absolutely love the design. It's given the Ned in London, if you've been to that. If you've not, give it a little Google and you can compare the two. Very lovely, inspired hotel. It's gorgeous. And the theme of it is actually clocks, which is because excuse me, the clock itself is obviously the main architectural focal point on this building. It gives like New York vibes. Anyone else think that if you've been outside? Like, the lighting on it is just very New York. Like, it's just gorgeous. It's like one of like the original like 1868 built buildings. It's superb, and the architecture flows from the outside the building right through to the inside, through to the interior design, which is what inspired the podcast, because I was like, wow, like, you literally was in awe when you walked in, and I think that's exactly what design should speak, and also a hotel should speak, and how crucial it is that hotels get the designers on point and on board with the brand that they're wanting to build, which for the municipal, is luxury. That's what it's trying to create. And I also love the fact that it's not just from the outside to the inside interior design, it's through all the way to the actual brasserie that's inside. The food is influenced by Liverpool's trade history, the menus are reflecting connections to land and sea, and the Palm Court bar as well occupies the central atrium, and the afternoon tea room transforms into an exclusive cocktail bar by night. So everything about the hotel and the design honestly is shown, like every last little bit of what's the word I'm looking for, like heritage of Liverpool. Like they've kept like the liver birds on the walls, they've just reflected Liverpool. And the menu, the breakfast was gorgeous. Like if you do get a chance, stay for one, but also please go and have the breakfast. It was unreal. I weren't expecting it. We were literally blown away. And if you do want to see any of the like municipal, like obviously images and things like that, I've actually got a YouTube video where I stayed in the hotel, so definitely check that out, because it's just nice to actually see the design of the hotel. But what I love is the Palm Court, the main feature of the hotel, and you just want to stay there. You don't even want to go to your room, although they are gorgeous. You just want to stay in that base and the heart of that hotel, which is something I think the designers themselves have really incorporated, because it is through your journey, through them doors and getting checked in and going through the Palm Court in the daytime, and then having that spa, and then also creating an ambience of an evening, and also creating that lovely vibe in the breakfast room. And they also have areas off the hotel as well where it creates like a cozy meeting space. Like I've done it myself, where me and friends have been to like plan our year. It offers everything, and this is how designers have to really incorporate every function of a guest staying there. And I think these have done it magnificently, if anything, and it makes it memorable whichever function that you're going in for. And they've done that with the design, with the lighting, they've done it with the furniture colours, they've done it with the scent, like every aspect of it. That is how they do it. So if you ever go into a hotel and you wonder, these are the small details they really have thought about to make it unbelievable, and there's no surprise that it is 5-star. So yeah, as I said, the memorable guest experience is what a hotel wants to create, and investing in a designer and a team that reflect that brand is really important. And it's creating that emotional experience too. Like I felt emotional being in there, as from a design point of view. I was like blown away, I was in awe. And I think if you're not in the design field, you couldn't appreciate it as well. But I just think every little detail for me, even just like the lights on the palm trees in the Palm Court, like just small things like that, like something you'd see on holiday. Like, and obviously it is a really luxurious hotel, but it's little details like that where you go, this is why I've booked here, this is why I've come in here for a drink, because I've been into the Palm Court so many times for a drink. It's absolutely gorgeous. But design of that is crucial also to represent the architecture. Like I said, having those original features in the building, and as well as the ones like in the room where the tall ceilings and things like that, they've kept the original marble fireplaces. All them details I absolutely loved. And I love the fact that other hotels are keeping the original features as well, like sort of that boutique vibe. Obviously not from the hotel I stayed in, but it's sort of like it's heading towards a more boutique-esque feel, and I absolutely love it. But as well, it's about linking the branding and the hotel design. So having a design team that really want to what's the word? It's not transcend. That is definitely not the word. The word I'm looking for is reflect. That's the word. You need a design team who want to reflect the brand, the vision, and potentially future thinking the social media. Now, according to booking.com, because I do like a fact, 40% of people pick a hotel based on the interior design alone. I am said girly. I am said person. Other factors are like location, price, amenities, all that other stuff, which is great. But we can't help but look with our eyes, okay? You know, exactly what it says on the tin. We can't help but look. And I know myself that, I don't know whether you've seen that TikTok where it's like a girl, I don't know what the trending sound is, and she's like, if the hotel hasn't got crisp white bed sheets, like I don't want to know, I'm that girl. And I don't mean to sound a snob, but if the hotel isn't given the standard, you know what I mean, things that we'd like to see, and that vision of luxurious, I won't book it. So I can totally believe it's 40%, and to be honest, I'm surprised it's not more. As I said, it was more like the 60% mark, but obviously that's just off booking.com. And I don't know about yous, but this is what I'm saying about the design to the branding to now social media becoming the forefront of society. If you've got an ugly hotel, fact, no one's taking photos of it for Instagram. You're going to have a terrible Instagram feed for your business page. People aren't going to be making TikToks because you've had a terrible experience and you've been nothing to take a photo of. Realistically, social media now is the future. So as a hotel, you need to appreciate designers and make sure you're picking out a good design team that understand you and your vision. Because if you don't, it's literally going to have a domino effect onto the success potentially of the business and the brand. Like, you see it all the time. Like, I don't know whether you used to watch Hotel Inspector. I used to love that show. I don't know who I think I am, like pure Hotel Inspector. But like, I used to think of some of these hotels, I was thinking, oh my God, like, I can't believe you're actually putting that out there as a hotel on the market. I am like astounded that that's even a thing. Safe to say, the hotel I stayed in was definitely not something that needed inspected. It was unbelievable. But I think to myself, that's the type of hotels now that are going to be shutting down because they're not moving with the times and they're not like refreshing. Like, if it needs a bit of a spruce up, I'm sure we all know a hotel or two, then that needs doing. Like, I'm going to share a story with you now, and I don't mean to be negative or call someone out, but I've had a few, we've had bad hotel stays. We've all had a bad hotel stay, haven't we? But I went to a hotel which everyone had been talking about on social media. So in that respect, people can also be liars, okay? Well, no, not liars. That's a bit dramatic, but mislead me. So I actually booked to go to, we went to Bicester Village, can't speak, and we went to, I think it's called, is it Millie's or Molly's Motel and Diner? Anyway, everyone was posting videos and all that, and I didn't actually look at reviews. I'd just seen all the videos and all that, and I thought, wow, that looks interior-wise a bit of me, because Soho Home or Soho House have all their like furnishings in there. I don't know who it was designed by, whether it was designed by them or whether it was like in conjunction with them or whatever. But we went and stayed there, and honestly, I went in and it was like self-checkout and all that, self-check-in, sorry. And when we got into the room, I was like, oh, this is a little bit anticlimax. And then the chairs, not like a cigarette like burn, but obviously someone's put something on, maybe straighteners or whatever, and it was like a big like black burn. And like, for like being like a motel, it wasn't cheap, and I think it wasn't cheap because it was obviously Soho Home, Soho House related, whatever. And I feel bad now, but I did put a picture of it on social media, and I was like, honestly, you don't stay in here. And then like, they messaged me, bless them, and was like, hi, what room is this? Like, we feel like embarrassed and all that. And I thought, well, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm only putting it out there because as a social media person, I owe my followers and obviously the respect they show me followers, and the money that hotel, as I say, wasn't cheap. I wouldn't want to promote a hotel that's no good, because I know people are like that they might be splashing out on that, which we was as well, do you know what I mean? And I think, why am I going to let other people like stay here? And that's what I'm saying about like hotels, and respect is not only from like interiors, it's also down to cleanliness as well. So it's about everything and creating like this guest experience where they feel safe, they feel comfortable, they feel at home. And it is obviously from one end to the other where that will then showcase itself on social media, and especially this day and age, you know what I mean, if something's not great, it's getting exposed on social media, isn't it? So yeah, it's just creating a full brand from A to B, which I absolutely love. And that also leads me on to talking about the psychology behind that as well. So as I was saying before, it really does influence how we feel within the space, and that is, as designers, what we want to do. We want to evoke some sort of feeling inside of you. We want to, make you feel relaxed if you go into the spa. We then want you to sit and enjoy breakfast and feel somewhat, at peace, before you start your week again, whatever it may be. You want to sit and enjoy your drinks, like for example in the Municipal in the Palm Court. You want to feel every awakened emotion that's possible, and that is possible through amazing design and through an amazing design. And obviously there is so many hotels that provide that, but I think just because of being there that weekend, it just really, really inspired me. So I want you to think about like your favourite hotel and how it's made you feel. Like, why has it made you feel a certain way? Like, I know like when you've been on holiday and you come home and you tell all your family about like the hotel you've been to, and you're like, oh my god, this was amazing, they had this, can you believe that? Wow, this made me feel some kind of way. And it's that feeling of never wanting to leave, and that's what a hotel does. And it also wants to bring in guests that they want time and time again, to create more of an audience and have a target audience. And again, a design team's got to realise, like, both function and aesthetic, how they are going to do that. And again, I know I keep saying the Municipal, but like, they've just got everything. Like, they've just ticked every box for me in terms of everything that we've spoken on so far. I know I keep saying it, but it's just gorgeous. So yeah, this is about the psychology. So sorry, I've got notes here, and because I've done, like, everyone feel sorry for me right now, because I've done it twice, I feel like I'm saying the same thing again, and I don't know if I am or I'm not, because I've filmed it before, or I'm exposing myself massively here, aren't I? Anyway, so hotels can cater to different guest needs, from business travellers to families, by creating spaces that enhance various aspects of the guest experience. They focus on design of lobbies, bars, restaurants, and other public areas that foster social interaction and brand identity. And that, to me, sums up both psychology and interior design completely. Like, they've explored the area, they've they've created the different spaces where you've got different clientele. You know, you don't have to stay in this hotel. Like, there's afternoon tea available, which is unreal, by the way. I went there the other day for their Valentine's afternoon tea, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Would recommend. You know, it's just about creating those different zones where you feel at peace in whatever function that may be for you. So if you're going with your mum for an afternoon tea, if you're going for drinks with the girls, you go into the bar, and it almost feels interlinked but also separate at the same time, which, again, I know I'm repeating myself in saying that, but it really is just these little things like ambience, light and sound, scent, all them different things that they've cleverly used. Because I feel like a lot of people ask me, like, why does it feel like this kind of way in a hotel? And I'm thinking, that's why, and that's why you should use them same things in your home. But I don't want to get too far on that, because I am going to tell you how you can turn your home into a hotel, but we're going to get to that. So yeah, you've probably been in your fair share of unreal hotels. I know I have. But I wanted to deep dive into the designs of a few famous hotels we might know. So we've got the Ritz, the Standard, The Standard, and the Burj Al Arab. Now, these all stand out hotels in terms of design, and they are hotels that continue to inspire the industry. One I haven't actually put on this is the new Atlantis as well. That is sensational, and it's actually creating more of a experience than any other hotel probably in the world, because it has a shopping centre inside. Now, I don't feel like there's any other hotel, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm no hotel expert, but I'm trying to be. I'm trying to get there, I'm trying to do me learning and such. Yeah, it's got a full-on shopping centre in. Now, I'm sorry, a shopping centre, like, imagine just being like in the hotel room, just going down, to the traffic centre, do you know what I mean? Like, it's on that, like, level of just insane. It's unbelievable. It's actually a hotel that is on my vision board, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, when we look back at this in a few years and go, oh my god, Ellie, you manifested your trip to there, I'll be like, yeah, because it's absolutely stunning. Everything about it is so expensive, by the way. Even that's why I'm just like, lol. I mean, to be fair, the date I picked probably is why, but it's literally a mortgage to stay in there, and it's probably worth every single penny. It just looks unbelievable, and I want to go. So yeah, I'll get there one day. But if anybody from the Atlantis is watching, then please do let me know. The gorgeousness of these hotels are definitely personal preference. Like, luxury design is definitely personal preference. Like, you might prefer staying in, you know, a hostel or a boutique that's, like, do you know what I mean, like, less known or whatever, and that's fine. It's absolutely personal choice, by the way. I'm not like, do you know what I mean? But I watched a show years ago, I think it was on the Savoy, or was it on the Ritz? It was one of them. Does anyone remember it? Please let me know. I need to find it. I wanted to find what the show was called before I actually filmed this podcast, but it was about the experience in the hotel, and like, they have a dress code and they have afternoon tea and all things like that. I feel like people who are like quite high up in the interior industry or minters that have been are probably thinking, well, yeah, obviously. And I'm like, well, I've never been, so, but it's absolutely unbelievable. You have to like have a dress code. There's loads of rules. They had like the waiters and waitresses like trained to a T. Like, it was sensational. But then they were saying like, well, that's what guests expect. Like, that's the standard they've set. That's what the design speaks. That's the experience from every aspect of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want everything covered. So that's the thing. Like, it starts with the design. It starts with, well, if this is what it looks like, this is how we need to treat them. Do you get what I mean? So it's kind of that luxury. I think people think that interior design is just like fluff and cushions and picking a few accessories, but it actually is the literal forefront of so many things, such as hotel design, how you waited on, served, like the opinion people have on said, I don't know, building. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know how you're going to get treated from the interior and the experience and everything that it holds about itself, just starting from that interior design. So yeah, for anyone who thinks interior design is overrated, first off, rude. Secondly, not true. Okay. So yeah, that is something that I'm really passionate about, being like an advocate for design. I just think everybody needs to respect that design is important. So yeah, obviously we've got so much futurism happening in hotels, especially with shopping centres in them and everything else. So the future of hotels is very interesting. So I want to like speculate on what hotel design might look like within the next decade. Obviously, I don't know, this is a guess, but the first thing I want to speak about is actually something maybe connected with social media. So I don't know whether anybody knows, but you know the Allen Hotel in Manchester, they've actually started this new thing. So if you are a influencer, content creator, or just maybe want an afternoon away from the kids, they're creating this like content creator package where you literally rent a room for the afternoon. So say if you've got like bathroom content to shoot or an outfit of the day and you don't like your space, or you want to film a podcast in there, who knows, anything like that, they give you the space for the afternoon so you don't actually have to stay as a guest, which I think is brilliant. So many hotels will be getting on that because they realise the increased impact in social media. Like, hotels obviously have started getting into it, but I feel like in terms of that, that's boss, because their hotel will be in the background and again encouraging clientele, encouraging people. And the Allen Hotel in Manchester is absolutely gorgeous. The design is given it girl and I love it. So yeah, if you are a content creator, defo check that out and it might be good for you, especially if you just want to start the career off. People will think it's your bedroom. Love that. Yeah, so something like that will definitely something we'll be seeing. Also, voice controlled rooms, basically Alexa but as like a butler. So it'll be like, say if you're staying in the Savoy, you'll be like, hi Savoy, can we have chips sent to our room? Hi Savoy, can you make a reservation at the bar for us? Hi Savoy, can we make a spa treatment? Like, that's what you'd say. Honestly, if this happens, mark my words, I was here first. We're dating this, we're signing it, because I was here first. But I think defo there will be an increase in sort of like the smart home into the smart hotel, if that makes sense. Because I actually did a module in uni which I really enjoyed. So I did business in uni. Surprisingly, I didn't do interior design, and one of the modules was on like AI and things like that, which was like 6 years ago now. And I think, oh my god, the things we're talking about then as future is now my present, which is very scary. But I feel like aspects of that course I absolutely loved, because it really gave me an insight into like technology in the home. But I feel like hotels are going to start using that more, especially with like sort of like, you know, like the key in and out and things like that. And now you can do it on your phone. So the key card gets sent to your phone and you can actually do that. I've done that once in a hotel and I found that a bit, I didn't know whether I liked it. Like, I feel like I'm starting to turn into my mum and dad, you know, where like they don't want to move with the times and like technology. Not that I'm a technophobe, but some things like I'm like, oh gosh, that's a little bit much, you know what I mean? So I was a bit like, oh, so yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but they were good. Another one is, this was actually, I was talking to someone about this, and if I said it was my idea, they'd listen to this and fume. So it's not my idea, but it's theirs. You know who you are, who's listening. But they were mentioning this thing in like South Korea where it's like a hotel pod. So you basically just check in, don't speak to no one, you're in the hotel like pod thing, and then you check out. So it's more like for business people and people who maybe a bit antisocial, who don't want to speak to anyone, which is fine. I'm not here to judge. And they would literally just check in the pod and check out, and that be their day. Go about their day. And I was like, I don't know if I like the idea of that, you know, because I love the interactive part of a hotel. I love when people are like chatting in the lobby, or, you know, in the nice designed bar or the breakfast room, or, you know, having meetings in like the little side rooms off the main area. I love that about a hotel. I love the interaction that we might not be able to see day to day, and especially now with technology, it's very rare that we have human interaction. So I feel like I wouldn't actually like that about the future of a hotel, but I wouldn't write it off. I think that's definitely a way or an avenue which hotels might go. Even if it's not their main hotel, they might have like side hotels, you know what I mean, like a chain. But yeah, I think that could potentially be. Self-checkout as well, maybe, because like we went to a hotel and it was like self-check-in, and then there was obviously a person there, but there was only one person working there. And I think, you know, like sort of like the self-checkout tills, are they going to start getting rid of like people who are like working in hotels, which would be sad for the hospitality industry, I think. As well, I think there'll be more event spaces in hotels, so sort of playing on that, the way that Alan is doing like the content creator thing. I feel like a lot of restaurants do private dining, but hotels don't do event spaces that are always good for everybody. Like, obviously, as you know, I host my own interior masterclasses, which, by the way, inside scoop, you might want to stay tuned this year for a reveal. Honestly, you know, sometimes when you listen to this podcast, you get real insight into what's coming up. So thanks for watching up till here, because you've got the inside scoop. Do you know what I mean? Thanks for listening. Yeah, so I host masterclasses, and getting the perfect room design is so important to me. And sometimes restaurants don't hit specific criteria I have. Not all the time, just sometimes. So I feel like hotels get the design much better in that sense. And I think having like little rooms for events, especially with like the growth of social media and people doing brand events, like big brands like L'Oreal and Paula's Choice have just done one recently. I can't even think off the top of my head, but I always love an event like H&M Home. If you do an event, please invite me. Yeah, but just stuff like that. Like, I think it's going to be swaying more to that and being like, how can we increase our sales of our hotel from other avenues, and that is probably one of them. And then obviously interior trends themselves, like biophilic design, modular hotel design, the integration of artificial intelligence, we always spoke about that, and then blending comfort design technology and just creating this immersive experience, like we talked about before, creating a memorable experience but immersively as well is the stuff to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what hotel I absolutely love as well is the Inside Melia, specifically the one we stayed in Amsterdam. Their rooftop bar was something else. If you've not watched my Amsterdam vlog, please watch it. I was absolutely blown away. We would defo stay there again. It was gorgeous. It was like, if you're from Liverpool, you know the way Gino's bar has, the Inside Hotel has Gino's and then the rooftop bar. It was like that, but it put Gino's to shame. And I do love Gino's rooftop bar, but just, it was unbelievable. It was like being in like Jenny's like times 10. I feel like I'm relating this to a lot of, if you're not a Scouse and you're listening to this, you're probably like, where is that? But like, just the vibes were unreal. It was like giving like discotheque, do you know what I mean? Dead cool. So yeah, that was fab. Now, obviously I've spoken about hotels, hotel design, how much I enjoyed my stay, but we always want to turn our home into a hotel, okay? So I'm going to share, I can't show you anything, this is all a podcast. I'm going to tell you how to turn your home into a hotel space. And honestly, it's probably easier than you think, you know? So you need to add luxury bedding, okay? One thing I will never do is buy cheap bedding. I'm sorry, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but you need to be buying luxury fabric. It's been a long day, use luxury fabrics like silk or Egyptian cotton, okay? Now, I love White Company bedding. I think it's not expensive and it's not cheap, but it lasts. I've had my White Company bedding for years, obviously not unwashed, just lying there on my bed for years, but it's absolutely fab. Like, the quality of it's amazing. Like, it's not fluffy. If you've got fluffy bedding, get out. Like, honestly, like, there's nothing worse than crummy, that's the word, crummy bedding. If you're absolutely fronting the fact that you've got crummy bedding and you're happy about that, we've got to talk. That's like rule one. Doesn't that just knock you sick on your skin? Ugh. The thought of it is knocking me violently. Use. Also on the bed as well, you want to add lots of fluffy pillows. Now, I always get asked, like, what recommendations do I have for pillows? I think it's probably personal choice. Me, myself, I like to sleep on the top floor, and by that, I get laughed at. My neck, I may as well have a crick in my neck. I like about 10 pillows. If I go to a hotel, I could ask for extra pillows, because if there's one, why do I want to sleep on an absolute lasagna sheet? I just don't. I don't want to sleep on a lasagna sheet. I want to sleep on a firm pillow. And I know I used to work there, so potentially biased, but HomeSense sell great ones. I love the Sheraton pillows. They sell loads of high, top quality brands. And just have a little, little knock of the head on them. Think, yeah, could I get used to this? Gorgeous ones, really good reduced price as well. And really good quality. So that would be my recommendation. And headboard is really good, like luxury feel about it, having a headboard. But if you don't, I noticed this first off in like IKEA started doing this, and now I'm seeing it in hotels, but maybe hotels started and IKEA copied. I don't know who copied who, okay? But they do, where you have like bolster pillows and big chunky massive pillows that are acting as a headboard, if that makes sense. So you actually don't have one, it's just like your wallpaper, your walls, your paneling, acoustic paneling, whatever that may be, and then you have your bolster pillows and your big massive pillows on the back acting as, which I love, because not everybody wants a headboard, and that's fine. Onto lighting, using warm lighting, like a yellowish undertone instead of harsh white light. We're not in a surgery, we're in a bedroom space. Installing bulbs with a lower Kelvin rating is really good as well, and making it dimmable. You can get remotes on Amazon now that will dim your light in your room, and you don't even have to move. We love to see that. We love to see it. As well, lots of light and small lights as well. Small lighting dipped around the room. Floor lights, we ban the big lights, so maybe just a nice shade on your ceiling light. We don't want any big lights turned on. No. And as well, just going off on that, maybe more of like the outdoor space. I know we're in hotels, but we've just got to get that in there. Get outdoor lamps now that are touch, the touch dimmable light, because I've said it before, but one thing we've seen a lot this year is the increase of gardens looking like living spaces, and I feel like they're just going to sell so quick. Like Primark are doing them, HomeSense are doing them. There's literally so many people who are bringing out these lights, and I think they're going to sell really quick because they're absolutely gorgeous, and we are going to be seeing a lot more of the indoors outdoors, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm a big lighting advocate this year. And then finally, a more affordable route would be decor. So adding fresh flowers to every room, an area rug. Now, let's talk rugs, okay? If your rug is this tiny little circle in the middle of your living room, we've got to talk, because that's one thing. Like, people say to me all the time, like, why does it look so bare? It's because your rug is not sitting under your sofa. If your rug's not sitting under your sofa, it probably will look like that. Bring your sofas away from your wall. Stop feeling like you need to, like, whoa, do you know what I mean? Like extra large 0.5 and on the iPhone. We need to bring it in, make everything a little bit more snug. And honestly, by putting your rug under your sofa, you will see the difference. Like, that's what we've done, and you can't half see. So if you feel like your rug's too small, I love a big rug. The bigger, the better. So you need to sort that out. Also, curtains as well. Blackout curtains and white or tan curtains to feel airy. I do again get asked, like, what sort of hotel vibe do you know where you might not think to go? And I'm going to tell you, IKEA. I've actually just got some gorgeous IKEA curtains. They're actually the Hannah Lil range, if that's going to help anyone out. I'm going to double them up, and I am going to put them in my new room design, bedroom makeover pending, and they look gorgeous. And not only that, okay, I'm going to crank it up a notch even. I'm really going to crank it up a notch. I want, from Amazon, where you put them on the actual, like, track of the curtains. So when you wake up, you press the button and your curtains open like you're at a hotel. Now, talk about at-home hotel vibes. Please, I know. And you know what? I'm really exposing myself here, but I love when you do that in a hotel and you get automatic curtains. That really does add the luxury element for me, and I will always film it. And no, you're gonna laugh, I always put the song Good Morning by Kanye West. I'm so predictable, it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. Good Morning by Kanye West. Who cares? Some random Tuesday morning, Ellie, go away, you're only in London. Like, oh, I just can't bear myself. And then as well on decor, which I was a bit surprised, because I asked ChatGPT what he thought, because he's my best mate now, and he was like, adding a wooden luggage rack to your room. And I thought, mate, we need to talk, because that's weird. Goes on Pinterest, and I was like, whoa, sorry, I do apologise, because that looks unreal. So I went on Pinterest, and there was like wooden luggage racks with like books on, nice pair of heels, like designer pair of heels and all things like that. And I was like, wow, that looks unreal. So yeah, maybe I need to apologise to ChatGPT, because he clearly knows what he's talking about and I clearly don't. But no, what a nice little touch that is. Then we move on to the bathroom. So kitting out the bathroom with towels and bathrobes. Now, towels are a big thing, just like bedding. Get quality towels. You're going to wrap yourself in it every single day. Now, I would suggest designer branded towels personally. Now, that is just personal preference, and I'm not paying full price. Hell no, I worked in home sense. I'm not paying full price for designer goods. I used to get the Ralph Lauren ones and the Hugo Boss ones, both unbelievable. Fraction of the price, great quality, great washing. You get no crumbs. We don't want crumbs on the towels either. And then when it comes to bathrobes as well, again, I actually got sent one from Hugo Boss, which was gorgeous, like this brown one, stunning. I probably would rate it over the White Company ones. Shock, I know, but White Company ones are still gorgeous. But honestly, have a look around, see what you feel. Actually, when I stayed in the Municipal, their robes were absolutely unreal. So if they would like to send me that out, that would be great. I was too scared to take it, but I have, because, you know, Perry Sean, if you follow her, she actually robbed a robe from somewhere when she went on holiday, took it, put it on her stories, and then they messaged her and put, "Hi Perry, thanks, hope you enjoy the robe." And she was like, "Oh my god, mate, I thought they were going to shout at me." And I was thinking, could I have robbed the robe? I'm still thinking about it now. It's still literally at the forefront of my brain right now. But yeah, there's some of the elements that you can add into your home to create that more hotel feel, because obviously it's not affordable to stay in a hotel every night, is it? But if you can create that sort of vibe, ambiance, experience, everything that you love in a hotel, bring it home, you know, take loads of photos when you go to a hotel. Like, how can you mimic that in your own home? Is there any certain things, like there's palm trees in the flipping palm court in the Municipal? Can you do that at home? We actually have, like, it's actually like a holiday home right now in this back garden with our palm trees, let me tell you. But it's just like elements of that, like, that you can pick up on, like just like the tiles on the floor, on the bar, you know, the Liverpool emblem, even bring that to the home, just little things like that. So yeah, now last week we did forget the advice, you know, the listener question, the design dilemma, because I forgot to ask on my social platform. So if you do want to ask any form of design dilemma, definitely follow my podcast page at the Minds of an Interior Designer on Instagram, and you can ask away, and I hope I can be of help. But this week's question's a really nice question. This is advice for someone wanting to start their interior journey solo. So I actually know this person, and first and foremost, they are really good at interior design. Because when they put that question in the box, I was like, oh my god, like, you're good at interior design, keep going. My advice would be, as somebody who literally went solo and just handed the notice in one random day because I wanted to pursue my dreams, I say go for it. There's never a right time. It's always going to be scary. That first year where I was doing this, it was absolutely terrifying. I thought, what have I done every single day? And now I look back 3 years later and think, why didn't I do it sooner? So there's never going to be a right time. You've got to believe in yourself, believe in your journey, believe in what you want to do. I started when I was 15, thinking I was going to be an interior designer. I left my job 3 years ago thinking the same thing. Here I am recording a podcast about interior design. I've grew a social media account and following. I do masterclasses to teach people how to style in the home and fall in love with it. I never in a million years would think it was here and travelling off that, if that makes sense. Like, feel like this was like me road, and it took different turns that couldn't have been any better. And I'm a true believer in every amp's for a reason. So although it feels scary, it feels solo, just as it feels scary and solo to go on a coffee date with yourself for the first time. It's scary, but it's your life. It's too short, and you have to chase your dreams. And if you truly believe that an interior design journey and career path is for you, you just have to go for it. There's sort of no advice anybody can give you, only experience, and you're only going to get that experience by doing it, chasing your dreams, go for it. I'm a true advocate in that. If anyone says, oh, I don't know, I always say quit your job. And I know it sounds awful, and I know you've probably got things over your head, but realistically, we are this tiny person floating on this mad rock, and we are infinite, or tiny, I don't even know what the word is. And yeah, wow, that was inspiring. I feel so inspired off this. I'm so glad I recorded this again, because this time round it's so much better. It feels so inspiring. Honestly, I have had a very up and down journey in my career path, and probably on social media it probably looks rosy, but I'm telling you now, it's not. But if I could go back in time and tell myself that it's all going to be okay, to quit my job and to chase my dreams, I would have done it sooner, because I've seen how my life's turned out. And then I think, wow, imagine what it's going to be like in another 3 years. It's going to be amazing. So if you even are remotely unhappy and you've got a dream to chase, that it's only time is now. Time is of the essence. We're only here once. So yeah, I hope that helps. But I also hope that you got some inspiration from my hotel stay and my insight into hotel design and how to create a hotel at home as well. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing you next week.